Hello, thank you for coming and painting today. We're going to paint a very cute little hedgehog and a little baby hedgehog here. Let me adjust this. Looks a little dark where I am. I just have it very kind of lightly put on this canvas from a tracer. Sorry, that's my cat back there. Let me find the tracer and show you what that looks like. So this is basically where we're going, a little nighttime winter scene with some mama or daddy hedgehog and a baby hedgehog and a little moon out there. A little loving winter scene here. So like most paintings that I do, we're going to start with the background first. So let's see what kind of brush we want to start with here. I think I'm going to get like my 1/4 to 1/2 inch flat. Which is this guy. And for paints, we're going to be using green, white, black, red, a beige, or you can use a brown and white to make a beige, and the red and white's going to make a pink. I'm going to do blue scarves on both of them, and also a blue night sky. So let's just start with that night sky here. I'm going to dip my water, I'm going to dip my brush into the water just to get the bristles wet so it's not dry. I'm going to start with a very dark blue. This blue here, almost like a purpley blue, then I'm going to move on to a mixture of that and then just that. So first is the dark blue, kind of around the edges. I just, you know, you don't have to go in all the way, just somewhat. We're just starting darker and then lightening our way up as we come in, just because it's a night sky. So that's what the dark is for, around the edges, just to demonstrate that. Got a little red in there, that's okay. Doesn't matter. It's really, I'm not even doing the whole thing. I'm cutting some of it off. Just kind of doing a demo here. I'm trying to get it pretty wet so I can blend it with the lighter blue. And you're going to see I'm not going all the way to the edge, and I'm not being too particular because my concentration is really the hedgehogs and the immediate background. This, when I'm done with this, I'm probably just going to paint right over it, so I'm not being too fussy about it. Now I've moved into that lighter blue that I had, like a Wedgwood blue, and I'm bringing it up into the darker blue just to blend it, make it look more cohesive. And I'm going to add some white to that. It's a really pretty color. Way too dark to do the immediate background. I'm going to lose everything that I have there. So I'm just going to lighten it up with a little bit of white. I'm going to go around the moon. In one day. And then water down this white and blue paint here. I'll be painting, you know, trees and things in the background, but just want to get some coverage going on. And the hearts, well, they're probably going to go away in this step, but we'll bring them back, don't worry. Go a little more carefully with the straight edge of the paintbrush where it meets the hat here. And if you bang into the hat, that's okay. Right now I'm going around the little pom-pom, feathering that color in. Oh, I can still see the hearts. That's cool. Going around his little ear, fur, get into some trees. It's all good. Just trying to feather that out so there's no like immediate, you know, dramatic light line of demarcation of the colors. Just feathering in. And right next to him is going to be some trees, so I'm not getting too worried about that over there. All right, so we have the starts of our background. And go back into that darker blue to do our furthest most kind of a hint at a tree in the background. And this paint is obviously still wet, so sometimes when you put more paint on wet paint, it takes the paint off just like that section just did. So I'm just doing like a very faded trees in the background. This is just kind of intentionally obscured. And then as I move forward, they'll get more pronounced, less obscure. Do one a little bit lower behind this tree here. That ought to do it. Now I'm gonna get a wipe. Use a baby wipe to clean my brush rather than the water. So I put my paintbrush in the water and then I wipe it off on the baby wipe. It's more efficient, less paint in the water system here. So I'm gonna make some shapes of the kind of evergreen trees in the background with this dark green, and whatever dark green color you have is totally fine. And they're not going to remain like this because they're going to be covered in snow, but rather than adding the green in later, we'll add the snow in later. So I'll just go ahead and put those in, and the coverage is obviously super spotty because most of it, these hedgehogs are out here in a blizzard, so most of it's going to be covered in snow. Got some blue on there, that's totally fine, no matter. Just doing the general shape of an evergreen tree, not getting too fussy. Clearly. I do one over here. Just kind of doing the tiers of it. Do some over here. A little more paint. This little blocks of tears. Oops, I went into his little pom-pom, but that's okay. We'll fix that. Maybe one more over here to the side. It's a suggestion because we're not going for perfection. We're going for kind of like a blurred background, which we'll get back to, you know, more later. We're going to let this green kind of pine tree suggestion get in there first. This one's a little more faded in the background. And there we have the start of our background. So we're good to go there. And I think what I'll do now is I'll clean off this brush, dipped it in water, putting it on the wipe here. And then I'm gonna get some white with some blue. It's got some blue on there too, and I'm gonna go for some snow. Just a little, you know, division, little lines of separation of areas. Let's see here. trees, give it a little bit of snow shadow. Let's do a little snow shadow under our little bellows too. Now that's got a little green on it now. Go back into the white with a little bit of blue, and I'm just gonna do a little bit of snow shadow under their bodies where they're sitting there. And I drew these with 3 little toe beans on there. You know, I don't really know how many toes hedgehogs have. If you know, you know, good. That's wrong, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to offend you with the no, hedgehog toe count, you know. It's just a guess because it looks cute. And then right with this, still has blue and a little bit of green by accident in there. I'm gonna go into the white and then just kind of fade that out a little, the snow. Add a little water to the white, taking it into that, you know, snowdrift pattern type of thing, just to make it a little cohesive so it doesn't look like it's just lines sitting there. It's a little bit wetter would be better. Let's fade more, but that's okay. It's working out. It's fine. Looks pretty. Making me cold. Go right up to the hedgehog there. And we're letting that background dry till we could do more things with it. I do see this tree doesn't come up to that tree, so I'm just gonna take a little bit of that dark blue and correct that situation. So that's bothering me. Go a little more tree shape too. There we go. All right, I feel better. Clean off that brush. Dipping it in the water, wiping it on the wipe. Now let's go ahead and get started on our adorable little hedgehogs here. I'm gonna start with the little, real small filbert. I'm getting it wet, so I'm not starting with a dry brush, and I'm just going into this. It's covered in yellow over here, but it's like a cadmium red. And do both of them, giving them some red hats. It's starting out dark, and we're gonna probably lighten it up a little and leave the dark for the shadowy parts. And I am going kind of in the direction of the hat, like clearly it continues over here, but just for the painting, I like to go kind of in the shape that it actually is. I think that adds to it. I could just go up and down and fit it in the lines, but I don't know. Sometimes that turns out really weird. Well, let's get this little parent baby hedgehog duo matching little hats. It's very, very adorable. It's cute already. All right, let's give the parent over here matching hat. Oh, I forgot an ear. Hang on. I can't hear very well. What'd you say? Hang on. Well, here. Let's get this hat coming up there. Here we go. Yes. Oops, got you on your ear. That's okay. If you need to do a smaller detail brush for this than what, something I'm using, go for it. Whatever works for you. If we have time, we'll add a little knitted pattern in here, but I'm not sure it's really gonna be needed. It might look really cute without, but we'll see. We'll start with dark and lights and see what goes down. this canvas panel that I'm working on is very, very, very dry. It's really soaking up all the moisture from the paint, which is making it a little more difficult than it needs to be. But I guess, you know, these things happen in December. Bringing that right up to the pom-pom area here. I don't want my, I did the template with a little graphite or, oh, little hairs there. Graphite or carbon paper, and I don't want those lines ending up in the final result of the painting here. So I'd say the little hats are done. I think they're pretty darn cute. While I have red on my brush, I'm just gonna dip it in the white here, just on the side, make a little patch of pink. Although I have pink here, let's see what I could do. Maybe this and that. I'm just gonna do a little cheek color. There we go. While I have it, and a little bit on their nose, about their nose, because you know it's cold out. It's winter. Here we go. A little white water to that. Cute. And might have to do that again. Let's add a little pink to their little ears too. And the little hands. Why not? Oh, that's cute. Where's your little hand, young man? Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna clean off this. Oh, wait. How about if we add a little pink to the little toe beans and the little soles of their feet? Cute. Okay, that's cute. All right, I'm gonna wipe that off, get it in the water, wipe it off, same brush. Now I'm gonna use like a, let me find like a tan color. Stand by. All right, good one. Well, whatever tan color you want to use, but I have Master's Touch Warm Gray, just to do the majority of their body, but not everything. I use this tiny little filbert still. Grab some of that. I'm going to add it while hopefully it's still wet, and put some of that combined with the pink in their ear. That's to give it a little pink undertone. Yeah, that's it. That's the ear ticket right there. Need a little bit of that in their hands so they're not so frostbitten. But I want to show the pink too. I don't want to cover it completely. Careful. See, I'm being careful to try and go on that line that I drew with the carbon paper, just so it hopefully won't be there in the end. And little beatsies, little toesy woesies, hands. All right, so now I'm gonna take this sandy color that I just poured along with some white, make a new little pile. I truly did not mean to get that red in there. Just trying to make a pretty decent amount, because it's going to be their skin color, the majority of it. And you can pick whatever color you like. I'm going to start with this. I'm going to start around where the light fur is going to meet the darker fur, or, you know, hedgehoggy things, and be a big kind of shadowy area around their eyes, the little hedgehog snout area. There we go. Let's do that. Up in here. Yay. Just how I wanted it there. Maybe a little under that. Just to bring it together. It's not so separate. There we go. That looks cute. All right, and then here we have it here. So we're going to need to do the same for this guy. All around the hairline, just like almost like a shadow. That's a little section I made. And I do right here. Of course, they are related, so they're going to have similar coloring here. All right, and now we're going to go a little darker. I'm doing a little bit of this brown and this together. Not even mixing it on the side, just doing it on my brush, putting it right next to that other color on both of them. I'm going to take that like a base color of their fur, almost like a little porcupine. And then the backmost section will be like a darker brown. But this will just be a nice transition. I'm trying to go in between the fur, just so that little slashes that we painted in before are still there. That looks good. I'm taking some dark brown, putting it on the edge of the little body here. There we go. All right, let's see. Take some dark brown, put it up here in his head. Oh, that needs some water. That's really not dark enough, so I added the brown with the black. Because it's wet, it's not really accepting it, but that's okay. We're just putting a base down anyway, because we're gonna lighten that up to show the fur coming through it. Going all the way up to the hat, making sure there's no weird white areas in there. All right, let's see. That's all this cat fur on here. I think I'm going to make a lighter version of that for the rest of the body. So I'm dip my brush in water, wiping it off. I'm going to take that little puddle I made before and add a whole lot of white to it. I don't know if this white is still available or if it's past its prime here. Add some water. All right, that should do it. Now I'm gonna do like the belly. And I'm doing it in little swooping motions like this, hoping that since it's not like mixed super well, it'll end up looking kind of like fur. It's almost like a dark white color going on, or dark cream. A little belly fur. We'll add a little shadow for that scarf in a bit too. Do the same thing for the little baby. Here we go. And now I'm gonna add, see if I can add some more white to it and use that for the face. I'll just give it a shot. Hopefully it doesn't ruin everything. Yeah, that's all right. It's all right. It'll work. Right up to that other area. Cute. Let's do some of that color on the arms too. All right, let's do the parent with that color. This almost needs to be slightly darker for the parent, but we'll see. We'll see how it ends up. Yeah, I really think it's adorable so far. So hopefully you're following along and enjoying this painting. We're starting a online monthly membership. We're going to do paintings in acrylic and watercolor, so that'll be fun. You have your choice. You can learn both, paint along with us, watch it, then paint it, whatever you want to do. But both of those painting mediums will be available coming soon to our monthly membership. All right, that's pretty cute. Let me add a little bit to the eyelash. Yeah, eyelids. I am going to use my paint marker with these two again. All right. Let's go pink tongue. And a little black in the background of that mouth. Eek. I don't know about that decision. We'll fix it. Do a little edge of the nose. And that, and then I'm going to use the dark brown. I'm going to highlight this too. Cute. All right. A little more darkness over here. The fur, just going little swipings. What about you, Junior? Yeah, let's make you a little darker too. better darker all the way around. And take a little bit of water and that darker brown. I'm going to go a little bit of a shadow. A little shadow under the scarf. Very watered down paint. All right, let's do a little, nah, let's not. Let's do the blue scarf. Watered, dipped our brush in water, wiping it off. Let's take some medium blue here. Do a scarf. Just putting in the base, and then we're gonna make it, add some highlights. This will be the darker color. That's why it's going in as the base. Very full coverage color. Now I know. All right. It's a little more chunky of a scarf on the parent. I haven't decided if this is the dad or the mom. That's why I'm saying the parent. Oh no. Pretty much as soon as I get this base in, we're gonna add some highlights to this because I want to do it while it's wet. All right, let's get some white going on. Definitely up top. Less as it goes around is working out just fine for what we're doing. Kind of trying to represent chunks of knitted. Let's do this guy. This little one. Oh, I didn't mean for all that to happen. Okay, let's do some more just white here. Okay. Look at this, I totally skipped that. What in the world? tricky around here. There we go. All safe, all saved. Let me add a little chunks in here. A little knit action. There we go. Maybe a little darker in that, where it meets. I did a little black, littlest bit of black and the blue, just for a line of separation here. And in fact, while we're doing that, let's do the same for the hat. I'm wiping that in the water and then wiping it on the wipe. I'm going to get a littlest bit of black added to that red. Let's do some darker sections where it meets the head. Okay, up here where the brim ends. The other part starts. Since these are like knitted too, I'm going to do a couple of those knit lines. Nothing too precise. All right. Same with the parent. Around their little ear. And little knit lines. Brim. All right. Okay, so I don't want to miss anything else. I think I missed a little too much on the arm there. Yeah, that's good. And then I'm going to do some dark brown fur, or line anyway, around the bottom of their scarf area. All right, it's getting better. Let's do this little, make a scarf or body. I think I'll do scarf. I think I'll do body. Let's do some little fur of the parent here. All right. Water this down just a little. Wipe it off just a little. Get a little more water and do some fur suggestions here. Just some water down of that darker brown, mainly water. There we go. All right, we did our kind of lower, well, I see one section I want to do right around this ear, to kind of our lower shadow type of areas. So I want to do some more highlighted areas. Let's add some darkness to some of the parts of this hat. All right, maybe a little bit of shadowing here. Yeah, that's better. So now we'll do the same thing, only lighter. So I'm gonna take a littlest bit of white on my paint. Very little, little. And make some knitted sections. And that's just a little V. Come down one way, then the other way. See, I'm not being very careful at all because this is very faded looking. It's not pronounced, it's background. There we go. Some on him. There we go. That's cute. All right, now I'm going to take my brush, get it a little wet, go into straight white, and add some highlights. Some kind of whiskers on the outside here. Make a little glow around the hat. Glow around the scarf. That's a little more than I intended, but that's okay. Probably could switch to a detail brush for this, but you know, too late. Okay. I don't even know if I'm making any difference right now. All right. Let's wipe it off. See if we can get some pure white somewhere. That's looking blue to me. All right. There we go. That's what I was going for. Some fur sticking out here. Okay, I'm going to touch up the rest of that with the black paint marker. I'm going to put a little bit of this brown in the moon. I'm going to take my paintbrush, get it in some water. Then I'm going to do a really light, watered down yellow for the moon. That's all the yellow I want in there, so now I'm going to wash it off. Into the water, wipe it off, into the water, wipe it off. Now just water, and take what's there and bring it around. My moon is looking a little muddy. Not my intention. I'll let it dry and add some white. But I do want to add a little bit of glow around. So I'm going to take that yellow, just the tiniest bit. See that? Tiny, tiny. Then dip it in water. Now we're almost dripping wet. And I do a little glow around the moon. Right up to it. And go a little heavy-handed. Go around a couple of times. Maybe add the tiniest bit of white. Water it down. There we go. Now we're a glowing moon. A little too yellow. All right, now let's clean our brush off. I need some fresh white here. And I do the pom-poms. This might take a few coats since they got covered with other things. Going a little thick. Big old pom-pom here. And I bring the hearts back with the white. And then I'm going to go over them after that, after they dry a little with some pink. Just bringing them back from when they got covered. We did our sky. His hearts are just the, the love these hedgehogs have for each other. Hedgehog love. Nice. All right, now we have our white in our paw, so we might as well do some snow. And that's just blobbing it on. The only real thing with it is we're not making it even. And here's the bottom swirl here I'm kind of using as a new set of branches. Just don't want it to look like the branch above it. I'm clearly going to need a few coats. And this background trees, we're going to use like a gray instead of a white. It's just white with a teeniest bit of black. And just adding this snow, suddenly the green odd shapes are starting to look like trees. Hopefully that was obvious before, but maybe not. Oh, got a big old string of snow. Adding some more to get it a little more opaque here and there. I add some blue to that, to these background trees. A little, I guess like a turquoise blue or I don't know what you'd call it. And a little one back there, just to distinguish that they're further back. So add some blue-white back on this one in the background. Okay. Add some shadow to this snow with that same color, like a very light turquoise. Some of that to our snow. Well, some of it is still showing, but a little bit more never hurt. This is obviously super, you know, suggestion, not precision. All right, looks good to me. I like the suggestion of the trees and the faded background. I do want to change that dirty little moon back to white, so clean off this brush a little. Got a little carried away. See what we can do. Oh yeah, that's turning into a moon. Trying to leave a little yellow rim. Okay. I'm gonna take this down. I'm gonna get back into that light turquoise and make some kind of fluffy contours on the pom-poms. That'll be a good color to use. A little darker on this side because I'm from the moon. Opposite side of the moon there. So I'll do more down here. Hey, that looks cute. Okay. Now, let's bring some white back to, ooh, goodness, what in the world? To the side of that hat. I don't like that looking either. So, yeah. Here we go. Okay. So we're going to now do one more coat of white on the hearts before we add some pink to them. We're almost done. Getting there, getting there. Okay. So let me take out, I'm going to just, rather than a paint marker, I'm just, since I have this handy, just going to use my permanent marker. Kind of enhance this a little bit. Yeah. All right, let's make his little happy face there. Add to the nose a little. Under the ear. A little. Do the same thing for the parent here. Give this some long eyelashes. There we go, that's way better. All right, let's see if we need it anywhere else. Maybe some, I'm gonna get my little liner brush. Let me see if I have one, yeah. Let's add some fur. Add some water, some white and that beige on my brush. Let's just do some spiky fur in here. This part looks a little weird to me. Okay. And then this, I want to do the same, but I need to have some darker sections first. So let's add some darker here. There we go. Okay. Anything else? This cheek is a little uneven. There, that's better. That makes me happy. Okay. I think only thing left to do now is just add some stars. So I'm gonna take my stylus. Let me get one. Oh yeah, and the hearts. This is the stylus for the snow. Let's do the hearts first. I'm gonna use this little baby filbert here. Do that loud pink. Fill these in. Oops, oopsie doopsie. All right, cute. All right, let's just take this, dot it into our white, and add some snow. It's snowing. I hope you enjoyed this painting. I did. It's very not so serious, to say it mildly.